Hi, good afternoon, and welcome back to the Cakers channel. Today, I'm going to be diving deep into teaching you how to fill, stack, and crumb coat your cakes. Remember guys, filling, stacking, and crumb coating, they are the basic steps of cake decorating, and they are the foundation. So if you don't practice and master those skills, then you're gonna have issues with your cake decorating. So take some time, follow me along, and learn the process. Remember to like this video, share with your friends and family, and make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. Before we get started, let me walk you through all the very important tools that you need to do your cake decorating. All right, so first thing first, you need a turntable. This is a turntable, and I always recommend getting yourself a metal turntable. The metal turntables, them don't need no WD-40. Them spin freely and give you a good stand to decorate your cakes on. I love to decorate my cakes on a cake drum. This is a cake drum. It's nice, it's thick, it's sturdy, and it will support your cake, a good sized cake as well. Once you have your turntable, your cake drum, you are going to need an offset spatula. This is what an offset spatula looks like, the one with the dip in the center right here. This is what I use to apply the buttercream to my cakes. Of course, you need your cake layers, and for today, I'm going to be adding some additional flavors to my cake using a simple syrup. I know you're going to be asking, what is a simple syrup? A simple syrup is equal parts granulated sugar with equal part water. You put it in a pot, let it boil a little bit until the sugar is completely dissolved. To this simple syrup, you can add a lot of flavors. So to this one, I added some white rum. You heard me right. Some white rum, because my cake flavor, I'll walk you through it as we go along. I have here a soft filling that's going to be going inside my cake, and this is a pineapple filling. It is so good. I love it, and I can't wait to be eating this cake. You need your buttercream, and the consistency of your buttercream is very, very important. Remember, at every stage of your cake decorating, the consistency of your buttercream will need adjusting depending on the stage that you're at, okay? A buttercream smoother. You need a rubber spatula to help you to pick up your buttercream, and you're gonna need a piping bag. Worse, if you're adding in a soft filling to your cake, you need a piping bag to help you with that. Let's get started. Alrighty. The first bit of buttercream that I put on my cake board, this buttercream is going to be acting as a glue to hold down my first layer of cake. I'm sure when you were back in high school and doing literature, and teacher said to you, start your stories with the end in mind. It's the same thing with your cake decorating. When you're decorating your cakes, start putting your cakes on your cake board with the final cake in mind. So have an idea of what you're trying to achieve, and that can sometimes affect the placement of the cake on your cake board. The design that I'm going to be doing, I want my cake to be centered on the board, and that's what I'm going to be doing. Now I'm going to be putting my first layer of cake down. These cake layers were baked 2 days ago, not yesterday, the day before. They were in my freezer wrapped in cling film. When I'm putting in my first layer of cake, I put the base of the cake down on the cake board. The base of the cake is the part of the cake that was touching the cake tin, all right? Before I do that, I'm going to be adding a little bit of simple syrup. Not a lot. My cakes are already nice and moist. I just want to infuse these coconut sponge. You heard me right. While I'm going, I want you to drop a comment and let me know what I'm trying to represent, what flavor I'm trying to represent with this cake, okay? So that is my white rum. No, so I hope me not get drunk decorating this. That's my white rum simple syrup. and my first layer of cake down on the board. You see that? I'm gonna go ahead now and get a little bit more of my buttercream to put onto the cake. And as you can see, the consistency of my buttercream here, it's not too soft that my cake layers will slide off each other. Consistency of my buttercream, it is not too firm that I'm pulling it and dragging it on my cake, and it's not too soft where my cake layers will be sliding off each other. You need a nice, smooth, spreadable consistency. All right, now I'm going to be filling my piping bag with some buttercream. If you know why I was going to be doing this before I said it, drop a comment and let me know. So whenever you're putting soft fillings into your cakes, soft fillings, you need to create a little dam. As you can see, my cake is right here. To create the dam, I just need a piping bag filled with buttercream. It doesn't need to have a piping tip. And all I'm doing is just piping a nice little ring of buttercream around the edge of my cake. That ring of buttercream is going to prevent my soft filling from seeping out of my cake. When you put that ring of buttercream on, it's very important that you go over it with your offset spatula to completely seal it. You don't want any soft filling coming out the sides of your cakes, all right? On to the fun bits. This is my pineapple filling. Ooh. I'm doing 4 layers, so let me be gentle with that. This filling, it is so good. Nice. Now that my filling is on, I'm just going to completely seal the sides of the cake. You don't want that filling coming out. All right. Now I'm gonna go on with another layer of cake. And my second layer of cake. When you're putting on your cake layers, please ensure that each cake layer sits directly on top of the next cake layer, all right? And seal the sides of the cake. And this is what we're going to be doing to continue building our cake until all of our cake layers are on. Make sure that your turntable is doing most of the work for you, okay? Spin your turntable, hold your offset spatula in the right direction, and aim to keep your cake as flat as possible as you're building your cake. Applying another ring of buttercream to create that perfect dam to lock in my soft filling. As you're watching this video, guys, if you're learning something from the video, please like, share, and make sure that you are subscribed for more fun and educational videos. This cake is going to be 4 layers in height, and I'm just repeating all the steps that we just did until we're all the way to the top of the cake. This is my 3rd layer of cake going on. And just as we did before, we need to go around and completely seal the sides of the cake to prevent that soft pineapple filling from seeping out the sides of the cake. Very importantly, each layer should sit directly on top of the next. That is what will give you a nice, stable cake. And over time, when you become more experienced and more confident, you won't have to use the piping bag to create that little rim around the cake, okay? You will find a way to do it without the filling spilling out. But I want these videos to be as helpful as possible to people at every stage of their cake decorating journey. That's the last of my filling. So We are gonna use it. Now our final layer of cake is going on. Remember when I said you're putting on the first layer of cake, you put the base of the cake down on the cake board. It's completely different for your last layer of cake. When you're putting on that final layer of cake, the base of the cake, the parts of the cake that was touching the cake tin, that is presumed to be the flattest part of the cake, and that's the bit you're gonna turn up. So the flattest part should be facing upward, okay? And our final layer is going on, and that's facing up. And I will not forget to add my simple syrup. This cake is dosed. My baby's not gonna be able to get any, and she's gonna be so mad. She's gonna be mad about that, but the adults will enjoy it. I'm gonna go around the sides of this cake to completely seal it and prevent any of our lovely filling from seeping out of the cake. Let me tell you how to deal with this stage now. If you get to this point and you feel as if you may have overfilled some of the cake layers, or your cake is just not sitting as straight as you'd like for it to be, or you're afraid to put pressure on it to apply that crumb coat, what I'd advise you to do is completely wrap your cake with some cling film, like I'm about to do. I'm using the same cling film that I take off the cake layers. They're fine. I just took them off the cake layers. They are okay. I'm just wrapping the cake. You don't want to put your cake in the freezer with any of your cake layers exposed. That can dry out your cakes, all right? So I'm going to just completely wrap the cake with these cling films to protect the cake layers. Then I'm going to pop this cake in my freezer for like 10 minutes maximum. In those 10 minutes, the freezing process will seal, firm up these dams that I created and firm up all the buttercream, which will allow me to confidently crumb coat my cake without the risk of any of my cake layers sliding off this cake. Remember to ask your questions down below in the comment section, and I'll be right back to show you what that cake will be looking like out of the freezer. One very, very important thing. At every stage of your cake decorating process, the consistency of your buttercream needs to be different. So now that we're going to be crumb coating our cake, this consistency that you see right here, this hard to move, hard to work with, stiff, not too smooth consistency, this is not the consistency that you want. This will cause you to pull your cake apart, too hard to smooth onto your cake. It will not be soft enough to slide into all those nooks and crannies. Is that even a word? You know what I'm trying to say. So what you're going to do now, you're going to pop this buttercream in your microwave for 10 seconds at a time. After 10 seconds, you take it out, you give it a little mix to check the consistency, then you pop it in for another 10 seconds, all right? This is going into the microwave right now. After 10 seconds in the microwave, as you can see, things are moving a little bit more freely. Things are moving around, and I can mix things easier. But this is still not the consistency that I want to work with. I want it to be just a little bit softer, a little bit more spreadable, and a little bit easier to glide onto my cake, all right? After another 10 seconds in the microwave, this is what my buttercream is looking like. You see, it's very soft, very smooth. Look at that. Very smooth, easy to spread, and ready to go onto my cake. I'm gonna go ahead now and take my cake out of the freezer and get ready to apply that crumb coat to my cake. And this is our cake out of the freezer. This is our cake just out of the freezer. As you can see, I can touch the cake, it not slide all over the place. And we can go ahead and apply our crumb coat now. Look at that. As you can see on this cake, there are some areas that are bulging a little bit. Bulging happens for different reasons. What I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna go ahead, take a long serrated knife and just cut away some of the bits that are bulging too much. You don't have to do this, it's not a must. I don't often do this, but I'm gonna do it now. Just cut away all the bulging bits, okay? So that you'll have, this will help you to get your cake nice and straight, okay? So those are all the bulging bits that I'm cutting off. I don't think I have anything else bulging out. So I'm going to let my cake stay right there as it is. And now I'm going to go ahead and apply my crumb coat to this cake. So we're now double checking the consistency of our buttercream. It's nice, it's soft, it's smooth, and ready to be applied to my cake. Not everybody knows what a crumb coat is. While I'm doing it, I'll share with you what a crumb coat is. So a crumb coat is that first layer of buttercream that you put onto your cake to trap any crumb. So when you move on to applying your final layer of buttercream, it will be crumb free, okay? You don't want to be doing, for example, a red velvet cake with all those red vibrant cake crumb, and then your final layer of buttercream have red speckles all over it. That doesn't look nice at all. So we're aiming for nice professional finishes on our cakes, okay? Just work your way down. This is what I like to do. Start at the top of my cake and slowly work my way down. And this is the reason why you need a very good turntable to work with. If you have a good turntable, I promise you the whole cake decorating process will be a lot easier. Remember, if you have any questions at all, ask them down below in the comment section and I will answer them, okay? And that is it. A crumb coat doesn't need to take a whole lot of time, and the crumb coat don't have to be the neatest thing. Your only purpose with your crumb coat is to ensure that all of your cake is fully covered with buttercream. Once you get your cake all covered up with buttercream, we're gonna go in with a straight edge cake smoother and just go around the cake and smooth things out. Try to keep your scraper nice and straight from the base of the cake to the top of the cake. Spread your fingers out on the cake as you see me do right here. That will help to support your scraper and guide you as you go along. As you can see, the scraper is not touching all the parts of the cake. The reason for that is because those bits need some more buttercream, and that's the reason why the scraper is not touching it. What I like to do to prevent wasting my buttercream, all of the buttercream that I use for my crumb coat, I can't put it back into my leftover buttercream. If I do that, then I'll risk getting crumb into my bulk of buttercream, alright? So I'm just taking the buttercream off of the scraper and using that same buttercream to fill in my cake. Try to get your crumb coat without any gaps in it. If your crumb coat is nice and neat, guys, the final coat of buttercream will be nice and neat and you won't have a lot of trouble putting it on, okay? And each time you go around the cake, you will see the parts of the cake that the scraper is not touching. And then those are the bits that you need to fill in with some more buttercream. You need to try to get your cake, the top of your cake, very nice and flat, okay? This is how I love to hold my scraper, to give me a nice flat top on my cake. Once you're happy with the top, you can fill in the sides of the cake. Fill in the sides of the cake and go around it again with your cake scraper. Feel free to do this step as many times as needed until you're happy with the final product of your cake, okay? And remember, this is just the crumb coat. It's not the final coat. It's not the final thing. So don't pressure yourself too much. The main things that you need to take away from the filling, stacking, and crumb coating of your cake is the structural stability of your cake. Your cakes must be stable. The dam must be there to secure your soft filling. The cake must be properly set. The cake must not be lean and wobbly. Everything should be nice and straight. All your crumb should be nicely locked in, so when you move on to applying your final coat of buttercream, everything will be nice and smooth and crumb free. That is it for the filling, stacking, and crumb coating of your cakes. If you have any questions at all, please ask them down below in the comment section. And if you have any cake decorating recommendations, please send them my way and I will produce those videos for you. Right after this, I'm going to be doing a video teaching you how to deeply color your buttercream and apply a final coat to this buttercream and utilize some very cute pattern scrapers. Check that video out right over there when I do it. And yeah, until next time, keep on baking. Like, share, and subscribe. Ask them down below.
Mommy.
Yes! Oh, thank you, baby. They messed up my video, but it's worth it. I was asked to be his Valentine.
I have flowers for you.
You have flowers for me?
Yes.
Thank you, baby.
I have flowers for you.
Thank you. Oh, baby, I'm worth it.